Hello, hi, welcome back to the Healing Girl Chronicles. It is I am back again with another video. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you very much and welcome as well. So, this is a space where we chronicle truth, healing, and becoming. So, today I want to kind of chronicle the waiting period. So in my healing journey, in anything really, there's a beginning, there's a in the middle, and then there's a desired end. However, with healing, it's kind of like this continuous middle where there are certain stages in the middle where you don't feel like you're in the middle, but you feel like you're moving forward and you are in a different part of the middle. You're in a different part of the waiting season, but healing is continuous. I don't think we get to a point where we are completely healed. I think that just goes against the way we've been created, because we are constantly evolving and growing. So therefore we can maybe get to a point where we feel like we've reached a ceiling with certain aspects of our healing, and other aspects are continuous as we grow, as we come to know, as we educate ourselves, as we become more informed. So for me, I'm in a space in my life right now where I'm in the waiting season. I'm in the middle. In the middle, in the sense where I'm not in the beginning of my journey, because I've kind of journeyed 7 years into my healing, and I have come to a point of understanding certain things. There have been so many realizations, there have been so many events, there have been revelations, there's been an unearthing, there's been a dismantling, there's been introspection, there's been going to therapy, there's been just introspecting and unearthing certain things, dealing with trauma, dealing with my childhood, dealing with certain people in my childhood, and so forth. So now I'm in a point where I look back and I can view certain things as being part of my past, and yet certain things I still carry even today, that I am actively working through, that I'm actively working to release, that I am intentionally learning more about, so I can actively help also facilitate healing within myself. And so I'm in a space also where I am really uncomfortable. I am in the unknown, where I don't really know how life is going to look like going forward, because in my healing, everything that I thought would kind of resemble my life has been completely destroyed in a way. So I can't actually look back at the previous blueprint because it's been burnt down. It doesn't exist. And I also can't go back because there's nothing to go back to. So I just need to go forward. And yet going forward also, it's like I'm in this tunnel where it's dark and I'm having to feel my way through the tunnel. And I don't really have a clear map of what's next, what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. I am completely at a new blank page, and that's unsettling, because it's not a comfortable or an easy place to be, where you can acknowledge and you can vocalize that you are in a place of not knowing, because that's not really reassuring. It's so easy to be in a place where you can say, oh, okay, so I've got this goal, this is how I'm going to map things out, this is how things are going to go. And sometimes in healing, you're not at that point, and I think I just want to share this because perhaps there's someone out there who's in the healing journey, and maybe your healing journey is also not mapped out like you see other people's healing journeys. Maybe you're not consumed with achieving goal after goal after goal. You know, maybe you are in a place of reflection, you are in a place of pausing, you are in a place of reassembling. You know, I feel like my healing journey has manifested itself as like a uncontrollable forest fire, where everything has been burned down, and now I'm in a place where I'm going back to the forest and I'm trying to retrieve whatever pieces of myself have been left over that are valuable. You know, I'm picking through the rubble of what was my life, and I'm trying to find out what works and what doesn't work. You know, it's a trial and error. It's a place of barrenness where I am starting over. I am reinventing myself. I am rebuilding myself, you know, because even being in the space where I've decided to, you know, come on YouTube and create a channel, that's completely foreign to me. Pre 2018 me, I never really thought about it. It was never really an avenue or something that I would actively be pursuing and putting actions towards, you know, putting myself out there. That's just something that doesn't really, it wouldn't have even been a thought really pre-healing. But post-healing, I'm at a place where I am discovering who I am. You know, I'm finding that there are a lot of things about myself that I wasn't aware of, whether they were suppressed, whether they were compartmentalized. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say. So, you know, they've been just sequestered into a certain part of my being that I hadn't been able to access before, you know. And with that also comes like a rush of now possibilities and potentiality that probably laid dormant for the longest time. You know, I'm feeling that I'm in a part of my journey where I'm not as exhausted as I used to be, because another thing about healing that they don't really talk about is the fact that healing is exhausting. It's so tiring. Like, your mind is tired, your body is tired, your spirit is tired. You get into a place of fatigue where you just want to get in your bed and you just want to sleep for however long, you know, because you are so weary, you are so burdened. You know, you just have a kind of spiritual fatigue that, unless you've gone through healing, or you've gone through something that has caused you fatigue that not even Red Bull can pull you out of, then you don't really know what I'm saying. But those who know. And so I'm at a point where I don't have so much of the fatigue and the exhaustion, and now I'm moving forward and being energized and having a desire to create, to interact, to engage, to participate, you know. Because for the longest time also in my healing journey, I haven't really wanted to participate with people, whether it's engaging with them, talking with them, being around certain people, going places. I've always just kind of been isolated and just healing in a room by myself and just dealing with my emotions, you know. So now I'm at a point where I do appreciate isolation, because I believe that certain parts of yourself are between you and God, you and your creator, and there are certain aspects of your life that really just need to be between you and God. You know, you don't have to have other people in there. But I also like understand the desire to engage, to interact, you know, to feel the energy of other people, to experience their presence, you know, to engage and dialogue with them. You know, it's a part of, I'm understanding who I am, what also feeds my soul, you know, to be in communication, to interact with other people, but also now navigating it in a sense of, because I know where I come from and because of the healing that I've done, there obviously needs to be parameters and boundaries that I set for myself in this new desire of wanting to interact, you know, whether it's knowing when to interact, how long to interact, how frequently I interact. I don't know, I'm still working those things out. But I know for a fact that it will be, you know, not just flying out in the wind and just going where the wind blows me. I don't think that's practical for me. And I also don't think that is wise, also. I don't think that's wise. I think healing brings about wisdom that ignorance cannot and will not. So, therefore, with the wisdom that I've acquired through healing, pain, and learning to alchemize my pain, I've come to understand that healing is just it's again, it's not monolithic, it's personal, it's what you experience. And so I feel like you need to just be authentic in your healing, you know. And it's okay to be where you are, you know. You don't have to have everything figured out, despite what people want to tell us, and despite the things that people say to us and, you know, show us on social media. People don't have things as figured out as we seem to think that they do, you know. And not everybody is going to be brave enough or courageous enough to say that. So I'm saying it for someone out there who you probably feel like you're lost, you probably feel like you don't really know what's happening, you've just come out of the warfare of healing, and you feel like you are in a place where the exhaustion isn't gripping you as you know, deeply, and you feel, you know, that flutter of hope again, of potentiality, of, you know, possibility, and you are still navigating, you know, going over that hill of exhaustion, and you don't have everything mapped out. It's okay, neither do I, and I feel like a lot of people don't. And so I just felt like I just needed to share that with someone, you know. We are obviously going forward, we have a desire to go forward, and we are taking the necessary steps to go forward, but every step is important, you know. It's not necessarily about speed, it's about direction. So as long as your direction is towards your desires, your goals, and where you want to be, how fast it happens, I don't think that you should necessarily be downtrodden about the fact that maybe it's not as quick. And I know it's not easy because I'm in the same boat, but I'm learning to just kind of relax, not be so tight. You know, the other time, that couple of weeks, I had like muscle strain and muscle cramps because I was just so tightly wound, you know, and that doesn't help me. So yeah, I just wanted to share that it's okay to be in the middle. It's okay to be in a place of the unknown. It's okay to feel like you are starting to gather things within your life. And I think the most important thing is that you've started, you are gathering, and you have hope again, because trauma, hurt, pain leaves us hopeless, leaves us feeling like we don't have a desire to live anymore, you know, and we are just kind of zombified in a way, you know. And when you get to a point where there's hope again, there's renewal, there's revival, you know, that's just testament to the fact that there's progress, you're healing, you know, you are going to experience summer. It's not always going to be winter, you know. So yeah, just wanted to share that to anyone who needed to hear that. I think I needed to hear that more than anything. And yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.